All right, let's talk about it. That one question that seems to trip everyone up in the GCSE PE exam, the big 9 marker. I know it can feel pretty daunting, but I promise you, by the end of this, you're going to see it as a massive opportunity to hoover up marks and really impress that examiner.
You know that feeling, right? You turn the page in the exam, and there it is. It looks huge, intimidating, kind of like staring up at a mountain. But here's the thing about any mountain. If you have the right map and the right technique, you can absolutely conquer it. And today, I'm going to give you both.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll break down the blueprint of the question itself. Then I'll give you a super simple, easy-to-remember formula to structure your answers. We'll watch that formula work its magic on a real exam question, figure out what takes an answer from just good to great, and then finally, we'll map out your personal path to bagging that top grade.
Okay, so first things first. Before you can even think about climbing the mountain, you need to understand the terrain, right? For this question, that means getting to grips with the 3 core skills the examiners are actually looking for. They call them assessment objectives, or AOs for short.
So the absolute foundation, the bedrock of your answer, is AO1, knowledge. This is where you just show them what you know. It's about defining the key terms in the question, nice and clearly. Think of it as laying down the solid groundwork for everything else you're about to build.
Next up, we build on that with AO2, application. Look, it's not enough to just spit out a definition, is it? You have to connect that knowledge to the specific sport in the question. This is where your answer comes alive. You have to ask yourself, okay, how does this actually play out for a real athlete in a real game situation?
And finally, we get to the summit, the highest peak, AO3. This is all about analysis and evaluation. This is where you become the expert and make a judgment call. You weigh up the pros and cons, the good and the bad, and you explain why something is a good idea or a bad idea. You've got to come to a conclusion and back it up with solid reasoning.
So how on earth are you supposed to remember all of that when the pressure's on in the exam? Well, it all boils down to a super simple rhyme. Knowledge, apply, say why. Your AO1 is the knowledge. Your AO2 is how you apply it. And your AO3 is where you say why it all matters. Simple, right? Let's say it again. Knowledge, apply, say why.
And just have a look at this, because this is so important. For a 9-mark question, it's a perfect 3-way split. 3 marks for what you know, 3 marks for how you apply it, and 3 marks for how you evaluate it. That tells you that every single part is equally important. You can't just be good at one. To get the top marks, you've got to nail all 3.
Okay, so theory is one thing, but what does this actually look like when you're writing an answer? Let's put our knowledge, apply, say why formula through its paces with a proper EdXL exam question.
So here's our scenario. We have a couple of canoeists and a list of fitness tests they're doing. The question asks us to discuss the suitability of these tests. Now that word right there, discuss, that's a huge clue. It's basically screaming at us that we need to get into that AO3 evaluation. So, what's our game plan? Well, for each fitness test they mention, we follow a simple 3-step process. Step 1, what does this test actually measure? That's our knowledge. Step 2, why would a canoeist even need that? That's our application. And step 3, is this really the best test for them, or is there a better option? And that's our evaluation. Knowledge, apply, say why. See?
Now let's peek at a bit of a model answer. The sit and reach test will assess their flexibility. Boom! That's a perfect AO1 knowledge point right there. Then it goes on. This is important so you can make longer pulls with the paddle. And there it is, a textbook AO2 application linking flexibility directly to something a canoeist does.
And here is where it gets really good. This is that AO3 magic. The student isn't just describing things, they're evaluating. They argue that maybe, just maybe, muscular strength is even more important, and they suggest a better test for it. That shows they're thinking critically, and that's exactly what the examiners are looking for.
Okay, so you've got the formula down, but what's the real difference between an answer that gets you a solid 5 or 6 marks and one that gets you into that top band, an 8 or a 9? Well, it all comes down to the depth of your evaluation. Let's check out another example to see what I mean.
Let's look at this one. We've got Dan, a shot putter. The question gives us some long-term effects of his training, like a lower resting heart rate, and asks us to evaluate the training methods that would cause these effects.
Now check this out. On the left, a weaker response might say something like, "This won't have that much of an impact." It's not wrong, but it's a bit vague. But look at the stronger response on the right. It explains why. It says this is from aerobic exercise,
and shot put is anaerobic, so it's not useful because he doesn't need that increased oxygen delivery. See the difference? It's that specific detailed reasoning that makes all the difference.
And when you see the actual scripts side by side, you can almost feel the difference, can't you? The stronger answer just has more substance, more specific language, and a much clearer argument. It's not just listing facts, it's weaving them together to make a powerful point.
And look, this is straight from the horse's mouth, the official mark scheme. It confirms everything we've just said. To hit level 3, that's the top band, you need accurate knowledge, detailed application, and well-reasoned conclusions. And notice that keyword, throughout. It has to be consistent across your whole answer.
Right, you've seen the map of the mountain, you've learned the climbing technique, and you know what the view from the summit looks like. Now let's just quickly pack your bag with the essential strategies you need to take away from all this.
Okay, here it is, your final checklist. Number 1, always remember that rhyme. Knowledge, apply, say why. Structure your answer properly. Link every single point back to the sport in the question. And please, evaluate. Don't just describe, make a judgment and explain why you think that.
And look, at the end of the day, mastering this structure isn't just about this one question. It's a skill that's going to help you all over the exam paper. And when the grade boundaries can be razor thin, trust me, every single mark matters. This is how you go and earn them.
So there you have it. Conquering this question isn't about luck, it's about having a clear, repeatable strategy. You have the formula. You've seen how it works. The only thing left to do now is put it into practice. So, the only real question is, which topic are you going to try this on first?